Hi, it's Cassie Oelberg with Traveling Through Sketches. I am so excited to be coming to you live from Conakry, Africa. Sorry I'm a day late. Yesterday was quite the technology challenge with StreamYard. We could not get the StreamYard to be horizontal, and I did not want to give you a live stream in vertical. I called in my fellow friends on Creative Cafe International, and they were having some issues too. Apparently, Android worked and iPhones did not. So it was quite the interesting day as Canada, the US, and Africa were on Zoom together figuring out how to make it work. Finally, we put a ticket into StreamYard, and here I am today. So we are back to normal. Thank you for bearing with me. So if you watched my packing video, you saw that I brought all of this stuff that you see strewn across my daughter's dining room table with me. And of course, I brought my Power Project folders and my simple sleeves of wonderful things that I will need, but I did not bring the pods or the pod inserts because they just take up space and I didn't have a lot of space. So when I got here, I found out that my suitcase makes its own lovely pod. So I just stacked it all into the suitcase, stood it up, and I have all of my little sleeves there just like they're in a pod. So while it's not how I would want to work all the time, it's perfect for when you're traveling and you need a way to get things done. So I'll give you a couple little fun stories. We got here and we had to get through customs and the visa office, and they took us in, and it was late at night. It was like 10:30 at night, and we were tired, and they didn't speak English and I didn't speak French, so they just pointed at a chair. So I sat in the chair. So by hand motions, I found out that his printer was not working in the visa office. So he motioned for me to go to the next booth. So I went over there and he pointed at a chair. And then they took my visa paperwork away from me and put a sticker in the thing, and they wouldn't give me the paper back. So we got up to the front of customs, and all the information that was on the visa paperwork, he wanted to know. So make sure that if you travel to Conakry, Africa, you know the exact address of where you are going, because that was on the paperwork. So I was like frantically looking through my phone trying to find the address. And thankfully, since my daughter's with the embassy and she got called into a late night work thing, they had sent somebody to help us. So that was good. So anyway, I'll tell you some various stories each time I come live. And I do want you to know that, yes, I am going to do my usual Tuesday, but we're going to catch up on the 2 July ones that we missed. So I'll come a couple extra times over these couple of weeks, and I will tell something fun each time. So that was my getting through customs. I will also share that once you get through, you get all your luggage, and it's like crazy. There's like people everywhere. They have all the flights come in at the same time, and there's just all these people, and they're all like friendly but crammed in there. So they're helping each other get their luggage, and they're trying to help people to get out, and everybody's kind of working together to make it happen. But they're also all tired, and so they're like trying to get to the front. You have to have your little tickets for your luggage, which thankfully I did. But they check each little ticket before you go out so that nobody takes anybody else's luggage. And I thought that was really interesting, because I know that when I land in the US, I always wonder how all the luggage makes it to the right spot, because it just all comes in and everybody comes and gets their luggage, and everything seems to, go pretty well. Nobody takes anybody else's luggage. But here they actually check the luggage before you go through. So I thought that was interesting too. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull up my hands. And here we go. So we are going to do sketch 1 from August. Like I said, we will come back and we'll do the last 2 in July that we missed. But one of the things that I like to do is just show ways to do sketches. They are one of my favorite things because they help people get stuff done. I had gone through all of, I think it was 2024, without really getting any albums done, and it really made me sad. So I made it a goal in 2025 to do all of the sketches, and I got 2 entire 12 by 12 albums done. So this is coming up. It's more than halfway through the year, but I'm almost done with this album. So I'm going to still be doing Belgium for the time that I'm here. And as soon as I get home, I'll print my Africa pictures and I will move on to Africa for the second album for 2026. Woo! Quite the years. Okay, so let's look at these pieces and parts. The first thing I'm going to cut is the 6-inch circle. Just because I want to get that done and out of the way. And I do want you guys to know that I will turn this into a double page spread. So anytime that I'm working with a single page spread, I just mirror it. So I'll put 2 pictures here and 1 picture here, and I'm going to turn it into a mirrored one. I may just do one of the double page spread on film because I have limited supplies and I want to get through all the sketches, and then I can come back and use the supplies to do the second page spread after I get them all done. I just wanted to make that clear because I don't want to run out of stuff to do all the sketches while I'm here. So I'm going to do one of them. I have the supplies out to do 2, and I'll show you what I would do for the second one, but it's going to be exactly the same but mirrored. So, okay, let's get going. Move these. So I'm going to work with these Fast to Fab papers. I like to use the elements in these. Sometimes I keep it as a full paper and sometimes I cut it apart. And if you recall, when I did it on Fast to Fab pages, I oftentimes cut the actual page whenever I wanted the elements. I'm going to be working with a lot of tonal papers for my backgrounds now because the tonal papers are just a little bit better value than a cardstock. They add some fun texture to the papers, to the pages, and they're lighter weight. So I like those in my album better. And because I like the jeeping, I don't usually put them in a top loading sleeve. I tape them down to a page. That's just my personal preference. I have a lot of people that use the top loading and they are lovely. But for me, I like to have that jeeping on the end. So I will be building on a lot of tonal papers. And this is what I'm going to use for the border that goes around. So let's start with the circle. Put this up. And this is from a piece that I cut to do a frame at one point. And so I'm just going to come up here, and I like to get it close to the paper, especially when I'm working with limited supplies, right? So I'm going to move it up here and make sure it's going to be completely on the paper. And it will be. And we're just going to move it around. And see how you can kind of pick your hand up and move to make sure it goes all the way. And we have the circle we need. Now I can put it down here too and get it over here if I want. But I am going to cut this one in half and use a half circle. So I'm going to bring this. Whoop, I just knocked my microphone down. Okay, so as you know, if you have a circle and you put it into this piece up here, it cuts it perfectly in half. So I'm going to do that, and I want to make sure that when I do this, that I line it up so that it is this way. So we're just going to cut it, and now we have half a circle. Okay, and I'm just realizing, so I'm going to go over this with you, that when I cut this, it has words. So I'm not just going, where did I put that sketch, guys? There it is. Okay, so I'm realizing that this is going to be upside down. So I'm not just going to mirror the page. I'm actually going to rotate it 180 degrees. And this circle is going to be down here for the opposite page. So I just wanted to point that out, that sometimes you look at it and it helps you decide what elements you're going to keep and what you're going to do. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my frame because I'm going to use this inside paper for something else on the page. So I want to make sure I cut the frame out of it before I start cutting anything else, or I won't be able to do it. So I'm going to come up here and I need 1/4 of an inch. So 1/4 of an inch is to the edge of this gray. And if you ever forget that, you can come up here, because sometimes I like question myself, is that exactly what I meant to do? So if you start off at 12 and then you measure down to 11 3/4, see how that shows you that it's to the edge of the gray? So if you're ever doubting yourself, you can just open that up and double check that that's what you, that's the measurement you're going with. And after all my tech issues yesterday, I'm like, I am just going to double check my life. Okay, so I'm going to bring this down. I'm going to stand up because these smaller frames, I like to make sure I'm exactly right. And see how I made sure I measured top to bottom on this? It's because these small frames can end up crooked very easily. So you want to take your time, and I'm going to bring that to there. And then I'm going to show you, if you look at the bottom of my, let me just get this into the frame a little better. If you look at the bottom of my trimmer, I drew these two lines on because I need this line to do the bottom 1/4 of an inch, and I need this one if I were doing 1/2 of an inch. So just make sure that didn't wiggle while it was up there. So over to the 1/4 of an inch, and then I'm going to bring it down to 1/4, and then I'm going to just bring it down to that line that I made, and then I have that 1/4 of an inch. And I'm going to bring this up without paper in it to show you one more time. So as you can see, there's these two lines I drew on there. I just used my clear ruler and I measured down, and I do a lot of making frames. Try to move this up a little. I do a lot of making frames, and so for me, having those extra lines really helps. Okay, so I'm gonna come up here, and same thing, bring it down to that 1/4 of an inch, and then cut down to my self-made line. We're just going to go all the way around like this. And you just make sure that each time you really take a second and make sure that it is lined up top and bottom. That extra second that you take could mean saving you having to use a whole nother sheet of paper because you got it all crooked. Crooked's never fun. Okay, so now we have this frame, and we're just going to save that. We're going to put it on at the very end, because by putting it on at the end, we don't have to trim every little thing that goes in here to 11.5. The frame's just going to cover it up. So we're going to put everything down and then put the frame on at the end. We only cut it now because we want to make sure that we can cut this piece of paper for another thing that we're going to do on here. Okay, so now we have the circle, we have the frame. We are going to do this part right here. And what I realized was that what I really like, especially since we're dealing with some trains for this, is I want to use this part up here on my paper. So I'm just going to take and I'm going to cut it at let's see, I want to cut it at 3.5, but I also want to get the 1 1/4, and I also want to get this. So 3, 4, 4 3/4. So if we cut it at 5 inches, then we're going to end up with this whole section right here. So 5 inches. And where's my tonal that I want to build on? So seeing how this is going to look, we're going to love it. Okay, so this is this whole section. We've got the border, we've got the paper, we've got this, and so it's all going to come on here and go through the middle part, and it's going to be all of those pieces. This is going to go here. It's going to have the frame up there. So now, and then this is the bottom, this is the top. The only other thing we need is this 9x5 piece, and that's why we cut this, because now we can go ahead and cut it at 5. And always make sure you're thinking about your direction that you want your paper to go in. So I wanted this to go across like that. So I turned it sideways and cut the 5 first. And now I'm going to go ahead and cut my 9. Okay. So I'm just laying out my pieces to see how I like it as I'm going. So this is going to come right on here like this. Now I want this, let's see, I'm going to move this over a little bit off screen. Working in a whole new space is always a little disconcerting. So now we've got these parts. Now the last thing that I want is this border that's going to go across here. And of course, since I knew I was dealing with trains when I was doing my packing, I packed this one. And that one is, I think, really looks nice with the train track stuff. I'm going to put this piece of paper over here and use it to collect my crumbs. Okay. And when you pull it straight out, you have a better chance at keeping this thin piece. And I really like that thin piece for just using for cute little separation decorations. So we kept it. I'm going to put it over here for later. It's that little skinny, like almost 1/8 of an inch piece. And it's so perfect whenever you can get it to come out just right. Oh, I punched on there and then I pushed it aside anyway. Oh, I'll tell you what. Okay, so then this is going to go along the bottom. And the frame is going to go on here. We need these two little pieces up here. So I had thrown this in. And this we're going to use scraps. So I just reached behind me and grabbed from my little suitcase back here. And remember when I was packing, I put the scraps in this little simple sleeve. And I like to use that for the little extra pieces, because check this out. You can open that up and they don't get caught down in there. So now I just have to decide what I want my little tags to be made out of. You know what? That's really cute. I think maybe, go. Let's see. I think maybe this. So I need 2 of these. I'm just going to do them both from here. I think I'm going to do one way and one the other way. Yep, I like that. I'm going to bring them down a little. Okay, let's go ahead and get the pictures. Find the pictures. I have things going everywhere here, guys. This is so funny trying to work somewhere else. Let me see. I'll just do a little cleanup to find them. This can go back in here. This can go back to my suitcase. There we go. I threw them under my tonals. Okay. So I want the train tracks. Did I put them underneath? Oh no, it only takes 3 pictures. Okay, this one and this one. And I'm going to do this one. Okay. Let's go ahead and get these ones cut to the right dimensions. So we need a 4x3 for up here. And guys, you are going to be shocked, but when I was packing, I meant to put my photo blade under here. Remember, we take the dull one and we mark it with a P and put it in the oven for baby and me. No, just kidding. And we put it underneath to be able to use for our photos so we don't dull our one that we're cutting with for the paper. But I forgot to put it under there, so we're going to use this. It might dull it a little bit, but the world will not end. and I will get home and I will replace the blade. So it will last. It'll last for the little bit of time that I'm here. But I was a little shocked with myself. There was a lot of stuff that needed to happen to get ready, you know. So here's our 4x3 picture. And it's going to go up here. And then we need our 3.5 by 5.5 photos. But I actually, let's see, am I going to cut these down? Yeah. Okay. So this one can be 3.5 this way. And then we're going to take a little off the top and a little off the bottom. There we go. And finally, this one. Let's see. Do our 3.5. I'm going to keep it 4, and then I'm just going to do 5.5 this way. And you can vary your sizes whenever you're doing sketches. Just remember that you can always vary it the way that makes you happy. Okay, so now I have all the elements on here that I want, and I'm super happy about them. So I'm going to put these on last. I'm going to put these down, and I'm putting all the pieces that go to the edge down before I put the frame, because then I don't have to cut them all at 11.5 and try to get it exactly perfect. Because like this, if I wanted to cut it at 11.5, I would want to cut 1/8 of an inch there and 1/8 of an inch there, so it would still be symmetrical. But whenever I just have it go down like this, then I don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. So let's use our measuring. So it's down. This down. And this is going to go over here. And I already taped this. Along the bottom, and now we're going to take this magical 1/4 of an inch frame, and you want to be gentle with it, guys, very gentle, because you know I tend to do a lot of things in a hurry. It's just my nature, and I have been known to rip these. So just take your time. It will actually save you time to take your time, because you won't have to do a whole nother one. It'll save you time and paper. So see how cute this looks, but watch what's going to happen. This is going to go down, and you're going to love it even more. Just take your time and put it down, because again, hurrying can cause tears. And why do that if you don't have to? Okay. Ta-da! Ah, it just brings me so much joy. It's so cute. Love Virtual Sketch Weekend. Okay, so now this is going to come back over here. This is going to go here. These are going to go here and here. Remember, mine are going to go a little bit further. I like this better this way because mine are, this picture is a little bit fatter. And just remember, it's your page, so you can always vary it just a little if it makes you happy. Or a lot. You can vary it a lot. Okay. So these are going to come down. And now I'm going to just add some embellishing. So back over to my suitcase pod. Oh, I need to add these up here. I purposely waited till last for these because I wanted them to go right up against the frame and poke out the most. I love these little tags, and I actually think I am going to do a third one. I like things in threes. Where did that paper go? Oh, yes. So I am going to go ahead and snip this here. And do one more punch. So I cut that so I could go right down there. And I'm going to do a third one. So remember, you can also do this kind of stuff. You can vary what you have going on up here. See, I like how that fills the space up better. Makes me a lot happier. And now I can come over to my embellishments. And I usually just reach in and pull them out and decide a couple of things I might like. I wonder where those came from. And then once I pick a few things I might like, oh, I want this. Oh, this would be fun. Some fun stickers. And when I have my studio at home, I have been taking my little magnets and putting them up there with the magnets, and then I decide which things I like the best. So I think those are the things I would, oh, I like this too. So pull out the things you might like on the page. Narrow it down. I think I want this. And then I'm going to pull my stickers over in case there's any stickers I want to use. I think I might want to use this. Taking in the sights. Okay. And then you can layer them with what you want to use. Oh, shoot. My friend Cherie made me this really fun group of these stickers. And I forgot to bring that sheet with me. It's okay. I'll use them when I get home. But it's so fun. I love my friends. Okay, so that's going to go there. Just making a little sticker cluster to go in this big empty spot. So just build it kind of in the air. It's my favorite thing to do. This one is a embellishment, so I'm going to add some tape there. And then this is going to slip right up there underneath that. Ta-da! And then I can add some journaling over here when I'm ready to write. Now, when I go to do the other side, I am just going to flip it. So my pictures are going to go exactly opposite, and I'll do it. In fact, you know what? Let's just do it. I'm feeling good now that I finally got the StreamYard working. My goodness. not being able to go horizontal, I'll tell you what, that's enough to bring a girl to tears. Okay. Might as well just do it now. I'm not going to run out of supplies. I'm a smart woman. I brought enough. Okay. So let's go ahead and cut this. We might as well do it while we just did all the cuts and we know what to do. So this is the 5-inch one. We're going to do one more of these. We already have a circle. Where did half a circle go? Here, half a circle. There's the whole reason for doing this. There we go. Half a circle. We'll do this punch real quick. Really, the second page takes moments if you just do it all at once. That's one of the many things I love about doing a double page spread is just the fact that you're either mirroring or you're doing some kind of symmetry, and it's pretty much the same thing on the other side. It's in my pile. Look, another perfect one of these. It's going to be a good day. It's going to be a good day. Okay. So page 1 here. We're going to reverse this. I'm going to reverse this. Just going to do it exactly opposite. This is going to go up here. And we need this 9x5 piece here. But we don't want it from our full sheet that we're going to make our there's our partial sheet. So do another 5. Nine. See how fast this goes? We can just go ahead and get her done. And now we're just going to do this frame one more time. Could not be more simple. Okay. So we're going to make sure we take our time, measure over to the 1/4 of an inch, bring it down the 1/4 of an inch, cut down to our little homemade line down here, rotate, same thing, line her up, down to the 1/4 of an inch. And those homemade lines for doing the frames, they're super helpful because otherwise you're just trying to guess down there. And nobody wants to guess. Okay. Down to the 1/4. Down to the homemade line. Voila. And that's it. That's it, guys. Now we can just tape her all down. So this is going to go here. Here. Just remember how far up I put this. 1 1/4 inch. So I can do the same thing from the top over here. 1¼ inch. And then finally, we shall do our frame. Take our time, not rip it. See how delicate it is. Picking up scraps over here with my tape. Oops, forgot to put tape on this little corner. Just lift it up and get it right on there instead of trying to tape the frame. Must have missed one whole section. But if you do that, it's better to just lift it up and put it right onto the paper than it is to try to tape your very delicate. Okay, and so there's our other side. Like this. And voila, we have a double page spread. Pictures will just go opposite, and that's it. That's what I wanted to share with you. So I will be back again. I probably won't wait a whole week because I have the Julys to catch up on too, but I'll definitely be back on Tuesday at 4, unless technology decides to take over, which occasionally happens, in which case you'll get a cute little card letting you know. Otherwise, I will see you sometime between now and Tuesday, and then Tuesday at 4. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a great day.